Hi, my name is Sohail. I'm the host of the Oops, I Said God podcast and the founder of Soul. Today, I am with a true luminary, a divine masculine in my eyes. He is an incredible holistic doctor. He is the founder of ELM, Emotional Liberation Method. He's working on building a master's program as a co-founder of the Integrative Psychology Institute. I'm here today with Dr. Christian Gonzalez. Thanks so much for being here. It's a lot of fun to see you here.
That's it, man. And usually people read this off of a computer or their phone. You have it all in your head, man.
Well, I have to
love the
learn a
intro.
little bit about you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really admire all that you do. And as you know as I mentioned to you about this show, this is really about understanding divinity. And I watched all your other podcasts, and everyone asks you about the physical or anxiety or these other things. And those are really the outer elements that come from inner dynamics. And so I'd love to first, just like for our guests, for our audience, to tell us about what is it exactly that you do? How did you find yourself here? I know that it relates with your mom. And then would love to hear about your own spiritual journey and understanding, integrating somatics into knowing the divine.
It feels like a very long road to get here with a lot of bumps and a lot of diversions and coming back to it, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
All really by my own doing. It always ends up like that.
Yeah.
And coming into this world of holistic, integrative medicine, functional medicine, naturopathic medicine, the work that I do, even when you're going through school, you're focused on the physical aspects of health,
Yeah.
which you said in the beginning. A lot of people I come on the podcast and they're asking me about how do I up-level my gut health? How do I up-level my brain health? We go into the mental, emotional, psychological sometimes, right? And mental health, the whole advent of people suffering with diseases. And we talk about things and what can we do from this perspective? What agents are really good or as herbal remedies? But the reason I'm so excited to talk to you today is because you have the lens to talk about what, for me, is the deepest perspective for health.
Yeah.
And it is a deeper connection. And I'm pretty sure you can't embody health without having a deeper connection to something, without understanding and embodying your purpose here. So for me, it was a long road, man. I've always been sensitive. I've always been able to sense people's emotions. I've always been able to feel connected to insects and animals and everything. As a kid, it was difficult being a child because things were loud. Yeah. And there was a lot of stimulation. I grew up the formative years of my childhood in Queens, New York. Lots of honking, lots of people.
That is New York.
Yeah, that's New York. And going through that experience, I never learned how to protect myself. I learned how to be a people pleaser really fast.
Yeah.
Because of that, right? Because anything that can hurt me, loud sounds, loud people, I learned that if I show up in a response that is a fawn response where I just show up as I can make you happy, don't hurt me energy, has been the sponsoring role of my whole life, which again, coming back to what I said, there's been a lot of bumps in the road and diversions really because of the person that I embodied, the people-pleasing self. My nervous system was so dysregulated, not only because I was a sensitive human being, but because I learned how to compensate for that sensitivity as a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So most of my life I went being a people pleaser. And because of that, I ran away from deeper emotions. Because people pleasers, we don't love the deep, angry, powerful emotions that make us human. Or conflict.
Yeah.
So we either abandon ourselves, we abandon the expression of our true primal force and energy.
Yeah.
And then we suffer. And back to what I said in the beginning, a lot of this was because of me. The way I compensated was just a blind spot. And so going through life as a people pleaser who avoids conflict, who avoids my anger, who avoids everything but fear, and then fear gets repressed and it turns into anxiety, and then I'm a people pleaser, has caused so much destruction. It caused addiction in my life. I have a history of addiction. I have a history of self-sabotaging. I have a history of just really low self-esteem, low confidence, all because of one compensation.
Wow.
And so all of this brought me to the place where I went through many breakups. I was in love and then I wasn't in love. And then I was a sex addict. And then I was in love again and not in love. And I was in love with dating and I was in love with dating apps. I was in love with everything but myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Often that's what happens, right? Where you look for the outer to satiate the inner.
And it was unsatiable void. And then after one breakup, I said, wait a minute, am I the toxic person? Am I the one who's causing this? I can sense patterns really fast, except that. And then I saw that pattern and I said, I need to do something about myself. And so for me, and you said masculinity has been the most important part of my process over the past 5 years, really revved up in the past 3. And it's how can I be the best version of myself as a man to show up as the best dad for a daughter
Yeah.
and dad for a little boy. Dad for a daughter, I thought I was pretty good at that. I'm sensitive. I can connect with the feminine energy, but man, I don't know if I could have been a good dad for a little boy. And so that's when I started to completely change, starting letting go of the people pleasing, seeing my anger come up for years and years, lifetimes worth almost, embody it, that rage, that energy, and then begin to transform. That cracked open a space where I can finally connect to God.
Wow.
It cracked open a space because I was able to
I
start
love how you're going there so quickly. Sorry. Don't mean to interrupt.
I was able to start connecting to myself as a more embodied man, and something happened, something shifted. I was able to feel my body better, and by feeling my body better, I was able to feel my nervous system better, and then I was able to feel my soul speaking through my nervous system to me. So I was able to have clarity through my somatic sensations. So up to this point now, today even, I'm navigated by what feels good in my body. Not what I necessarily have to do, what it feels good in my body, who feels good. And I trust as God speaking to me and through me and guiding me to whatever people, places, things, situations, circumstances, inspirations, clarity that I need to bring into my life to create whatever I'm creating in this world.
What a story. There's so much there. So basically, what ended up happening was pain that caused you to go deeper. And something I feel like you glossed over, which I would love for you to double click on, is just getting into somatics. Were you already into that realm of somatic healing and studying in that world before or after this breakup? And were you then able, if it was after, I assume you were able to use those tools to get yourself deeper?
Yeah. I had no connection to my body. I didn't know if my body was in pain. I just know I had quote unquote gut issues.
Okay.
And I knew that foods, like some foods, maybe sometimes, and I had no idea. The importance of that breakup was it shook me internally. And I was in a place where I was surrounded in nature. So as that was shaking me
Was it
internally,
Topanga?
Topanga,
Yeah.
it was in 2020. And it shook me so deeply, but I was like, wait a minute, I'm connected to something bigger than me. It was just a perfect timing.
Yeah.
But what I really glossed over was my mom's death. That is what created all of that suppressed internal turmoil to come up to the surface, because I didn't know how to express sadness and the pain and the guilt and the anger and even the shame, all of it together. So when she passed away, my compensations were through addiction. All of that pain couldn't be felt. It was unbearable. It was unwitnessable.
You're numbing it.
Numbing. So it came out as addiction, sex addiction, dating addiction. I was drinking a lot. I was just partying nonstop. And that even led to a deeper disconnection to my body. What is true for me? As a people pleaser growing up, I never knew what the hell was true for me. I knew it was true for my dad, my brother, my friends, my girlfriends, my coach. I knew it was true for everyone but me. I can feel that. I can feel people's truth. I can feel what they want. I just don't know what the hell I wanted.
Yeah.
And after her death, I went into a really deep hole of compensations and anxieties and addictions that disconnected me from my body. For me, a disconnection from the body is a disconnection from God, because I do believe the soul speaks through the nervous system. It speaks through somatic experience. It speaks through visions. It speaks through that connection when we feel in meditation, that bliss, that calmness, that groundedness, that life force. That's God.
Yeah.
And all of that was present for a very long time until that breakup. Every relationship was an expression of, okay, I'm not a sex addict anymore. I'm not drinking anymore. But where's that energy going?
Yeah.
Where's that abandonment of self going? And I wasn't showing up as a healthy man because I was way too in my flow, way too passive. Sure, whatever you want, it's fine. But the women I was dating, they wanted a man. They wanted a man who they felt protected and strong and grounded and can hold them. I didn't know what it meant. And so all of those repressions through my mom's death, which went even deeper, started bubbling around that Topanga time.
Yeah.
And as it bubbled, I began to witness these parts of me that have been suppressed probably since I was 5 years old. And do you know how hard it is for the ego to begin to feel an edge of a new self coming? Because the ego will do everything to resist
It'll
that.
go crazy.
It'll go crazy. So what started happening? first time in 5 years, sex addiction started coming up.
Oh,
I
wow.
started having those feelings.
Yeah.
I started feeling, oh my God, I thought I got over this.
Yeah.
Everything that I
Really?
dabbled in started to come up, and I had to face it and resist and feel and resist doing the action, but feel the pain of it.
Yeah.
And that was a 2-year process.
Wow.
All to say that the emotions that were repressed, once they started being felt, witnessed, and embodied, began to create a new identity, a new sense of self.
Yeah.
That sense of self, not ironically, was connected more to God because there was more spaciousness in
Of
my
course.
body.
Beautiful word. Yeah.
I was able to receive, and that was the sort of how it unfolded.
So before 2020, what was your relationship like with God? And then post 2020, how did it evolve?
God, that's a great question. I grew up religious, and I went to Catholic school, religious instruction, communion,
Yeah.
confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever said this on any podcast. There was a sort of rift between my parents. My mom wanted us to go through like the Catholic everything, the steps of everything.
Yeah.
And my dad did grow up Catholic in an Ecuadorian family who they were really in high regard of, very Catholic. But my dad is an artist, and my dad sees the world very differently. And he hates to be told what to do, and he hates not doing things his way,
Yeah.
and he definitely hates status quo. And so that's the dad that I grew up with. And he always rejected going to church with us because it didn't feel true for him. So us, me, my brother, and my mom, we'd go to church and we'd glory be to God. And I'm like, okay, I'm here, but I don't necessarily feel connected, but I think I'm supposed to do this. But my dad had the perspective that God wasn't a physical being, although it can be an expression of everything, but it wasn't a man, as I was being taught in these churches and religious instruction and things like that. And my dad had always the perspective that it was just this force, this omnipotent, omnipresent force that affects all of us. And right when he was really resisting, this book came into my life. And this book was given to my mom by her best friend, who ironically now my dad is dating.
Oh, wow.
My mom passed away in
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah. May God bless her soul.
May God bless her soul. But Nancy gave my mom this book called Conversations with God.
Yeah. Very
Have you?
famous.
You're very famous, right? I never heard of it. Man, when I tell you I hated to read, I didn't read for nothing.
Yeah.
I was in college and I was reading whatever I needed to read to just pass my class. Biology book, chemistry book, accounting book, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
So I see the book and I go, okay, what's this feeling? I feel drawn. I don't know. I feel magnetized. So I took that book. It was on the kitchen table and I went into the back deck that we had. It was the summer. And I read half of the book in one sitting.
Wow.
And it was like early morning and I finished it till like late afternoon. I was just reading. And the feeling that I felt in my body up till that point was something I've never felt that was not reproducible aside from a drug or something.
Yeah.
I felt so embodied and intuitive, and my heart was beating fast, and I felt like my soul was leaving my body, or like I felt like I was looking down at myself.
Yeah.
I've never felt anything like that. And I was in shock when I was reading because it felt like that book was speaking to me. And I know it speaks to a lot of people because it's such a bestseller, but it spoke to me enough that it changed my perspective from Catholic paradigms to something more energetic, spiritual.
Yeah.
Right then and there, unfolding, I told my dad about it, and my dad started feeling so in this deep remembrance. And we started watching videos about quantum physics, and we're learning about like energy, and we're learning about particles and how they behave when they're observed or not observed. And it's just making so much sense to me. That exploded my relationship with God in a different light because it was a complete contrast to something I thought I need to do to something that somatically felt true. Since then, till this day, even amongst sex addiction, I was still always connected to that.
Yeah.
I would go drinking. I would sleep with someone that I didn't want to sleep with. And in the morning, I'd go to the beach and meditate and try to connect to God. That actually never left me. The somatic sensation and the feelings in my body, my truth, that left me a long time ago. But I was always connected to God. And it was because of those moments that started unfolding where I felt something truer than what I grew up around. To this day, I still can feel God like that.
That's such a blessing.
I still feel it. It was a blessing.
It is.
Yeah, it is. True.
Okay, so 2020 happens and you're going through the bubbling up. You're going through basically a transmutation, right? You'd say, what do we say? Yeah, probably phase 1 and 2 of alchemy, calcination, dissolution. You're burning away and washing away, right?
Exactly.
So, how did you manage that? And that's such a heavy question and then how did your relationship with God play a role in that? So many people go through something in their lives. This is a part of being human,
Yeah.
this perceived darkness. So I would be so curious to know how you managed it and what you found. How did you weave the light through that all?
Yeah, it was a dark time too. It was right around COVID. It was right around all the protests. There was a lot of fear. And remember, I can feel people and I can feel the environment.
Yeah.
It was simultaneous. This dark bubbling was coming out of me. And the world was, or at least my world, immediate world around me was really suffering. It was something was happening when I felt it. I actually went down the road of psychedelics and I was like, okay, I'm having all this stuff move up. And then it just got introduced into my field. So I went down the road. I did all the mushrooms, all the LSDs, all the ayahuascas. And when I speak about psychedelics, I speak about it in the light that they changed my life because I was able to absolutely not only feel God, but actually communicate with God.
Very beautiful.
And it's going through those processes have given me gifts that I still use in my practice. It's cracked open channels. I'm able to channel. I'm able to hear things, right? All because of that experience. And then someone's like, come on, we're going to do another ceremony. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then I said, wait, hold on. I'm working on my people pleasing. Hold on. Let me see. Let me feel.
Yeah.
And I said, it doesn't feel right now. It doesn't feel like I want to do it.
Yeah.
And years later, it was the same thing. I went through that phase and I got what I needed. And I remember the last time I ever did psychedelics, the mushrooms was like, go be what I'm teaching you.
Yeah.
Stop leaning on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit.
That's the danger with all the, you
Yeah.
know, using it as you say in your podcast, another podcast I listened, the quick fix.
Quick fix.
It's extremely misleading to think that, oh, I can just take this and then I know God and I'm good to go.
Completely misleading.
Yeah.
And I fell for it in the beginning. I go, oh, this is all I needed, of course. But all psychedelics have this. I saw a meme on Instagram and it said, psychedelics is, I'm going to give you the most incredible downloads and revelations of your life. And then me, how do I integrate this in the psychedelics? There was a picture of someone with their hands up in the air. I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
That's for you to figure out. So you get all these mind-blowing changes and shifts and why and who and what, where, when. It's all there. And then it's, okay, now go about your life. How are you going to integrate this? So it took me many years to start integrating what I learned from there. And the integration was probably the toughest because it was work. You have to work. It's work.
Yeah.
But I can positively say I feel the most grounded I've ever had, the most connected to this day. I have all these practices that I do that I connect to God. I feel clear. And I think the most beautiful thing, and the last part of this I'll say, is that I feel like I can surrender because I feel that even if I don't know how or who or what or where, that if I'm quiet and I listen, that I'll get the inspiration and clarity.
Stillness.
If in stillness, I know that I'll get some direction, so I'm never lost. And that's that feeling of knowing that I'm led and held. That's beautiful.
Yes, that is. It truly is. So how did you integrate? How exactly did you integrate to embody?
Shoot, man. This was the work, right?
Yeah, that's what we want to know.
Listen, relationships are teachers. And my partner and her and I have a fantastic relationship. I confidently can say I wouldn't be in this relationship with her if I didn't do all the work because she's a woman. She is a regulated woman. She's a woman who doesn't take shit, but she's a woman who's soft.
Yeah.
And my God, I feel so blessed to have her in my life because I'm like, okay, I've been doing something good. I can feel that she's a projection of something. I've attracted a wonderful person. How the hell did I get here?
Blessing,
That's a whole thing. I will say this, and this is why I say relationships are teachers, because the last partnership that I was in a few years ago, we were dating, we were together for a while, we moved in, and it was like I'm putting on a shoe, and the shoe feels good, but I know that the sides are too tight, but maybe I'll break them in at some point, and maybe it'll feel good.
Yeah.
It might work.
Yeah.
Over time, it could work. But like when I put it on, it didn't feel great. So through that relationship, the ideal of what and potential that what can unfold was my compass and truth and light,
Yeah, which is of course misleading.
it's misleading.
Yeah.
And so when we broke up, I looked at myself and I said, okay, how am I showing up as a man? And this is to all the fellas out here. I think we all have to ask ourselves this question.
Yeah, sure.
Or do we have that balance where we have head and heart? Because I work with a lot of men, and the large majority of men that I meet are head.
Yeah.
Logical,
Sure.
execution,
Yeah.
successful. There's not a large majority, but the rest of the men that come to work with me are disconnected from their power, and they're too soft.
Mm.
They don't know how to execute. They're too passive. They were me. I connect with these men more because they were me.
Yeah.
And so a
Again,
pleasing
yeah.
element. So I went through my whole somatic process. I connected to my body every day. I said, there are still parts of me that since Topanga have not moved through me. And it was deep sexual shame because I grew up very religious. So my relationship to sex and sexuality was,
Oh, I can't.
that was a
imagine.
whole
The
thing.
guilt and shame with that.
Guilt and shame.
Because it's such a powerful, I don't mean to interrupt here, but this is a conversation. Sex is, I don't even like using the word sex, but the energy, the life force of making love is so powerful. And to think that, oh, I am worthy of experiencing that to its zenith, but that also being a light of, I am that blessed, I am that anointed, I'm that loved, that I get to experience this. For some people, it's overwhelming for their ego.
Oh, yeah.
So instead, put it in boxes of guilt and shame. So I'm not really good enough to experience and embody fully that light and that power and that life force. So I get it. I understand that. I have my own journey on that too.
Wow. But I love the way that you said it because I can feel it. I resonate with it deeply because I never heard of it in that perspective. I never heard of it. A lot of it was me. I took upon a lot of my mom's guilt around sex and sexuality. There'd be nude scene on the TV. She'd run and cover it. I'm like, Mom, I'm 15. I'm 16. Mom, I'm 21. You can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But those signals, they go somewhere in the body.
Yeah.
I never spoke about I never even spoke that I had girlfriends to my parents. Everything was very private for me. But when you say, and this is why I really appreciate what you said, the connection to self, the connection to oneness in sex, I don't know what can match it other than
physically,
just physically.
Yeah.
And I really like the perspective of that what you said, that maybe a lot of what I was suffering was I don't feel good enough to experience that.
Yeah.
I have too much shame or guilt inside of me to think that I'm worthy of that anointment, as you said.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful way to put it. And I actually really felt that.
I appreciate sharing.
And so what I asked myself was this, and shout out to my dad. He was a wonderful dad. He did the best he can. But as we grow generationally, we try to embody better versions of us. And I think that the version of me that I'm trying to embody and embodying as best as possible now is not a version that I was role modeled by anyone in my life growing up. And so I did exactly this. After the breakup, I said, how did I show up in this relationship? And what masculine qualities am I disconnected from? And I work a lot with whiteboards because I need to see things daily. So I had a big whiteboard and I wrote down the aspects of what is masculine to me that I know I'm not embodying. Leadership, initiation, assertment, grounding, nervous system, true grounding, holding space. I can hold a lot. I can hold a woman's emotions. All of those. So every single day, I felt in my body the expression of, I am these things. I am these things. And then I just waited until God, or whatever you want to call it, gave me the opportunities in real time to choose to embody those things.
Yeah.
And I quote unquote failed a lot of the times. Because when I had the chance to be a leader and I was like, oh, wait, this is my chance. And then I close up and I go, I'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I have a chance to initiate. I have a chance to assert. I have a chance to hold space with this person in front of me. First of all, it took me a while to even realize when that thing was in front of me.
Yeah. The self-awareness.
Self-awareness in
that is the
itself.
biggest win.
That's the biggest win, right?
Yeah.
So the moments I started seeing, oh, wait, whoa, this is an opportunity. I'm given this opportunity. Then I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I can't step into it. When I started stepping into all of those and truly embodying and then knowing myself as, something changed in me. I went back on the dating scene and I knew very clearly if it was a beautiful person, physically beautiful, my type, but didn't feel right in my body, I didn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
I had stopped abandoning myself. 2 months of dating, I have this event, big healing event, and my partner goes. My current partner, this was 2 years ago, my current partner goes. And when I met her, I was like, oh, wow, she's beautiful. I noticed her during the event. And I'd stay professional, but I'd
Yeah.
walk past her, I'd say, oh, wow, she's beautiful. And then I said, let me get back to doing my work.
Yeah, of
And then
course.
she came up to me, we were talking, and I felt in my body, what? Why? She's so much younger. What's happened? I can't.
Yeah.
All my ego. And I said, no, I'm going to embody the man that I am and let things come to me and me pursue and have that equal. And it was wonderful. It was beautiful. I've never pursued a woman. I don't think I've ever pursued a woman more than, hi, my name is whatever, and let's exchange numbers.
Yeah.
I pursued my partner for months. Every weekend I asked her to hang out. I wanted to connect with her as much as I can because I was asserting myself. I was being that which I was not for so many years, so much of my life.
Yeah. Wow. Do you mind if I pause
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that? You asked her, this is very anti from what I know. So this is like for me a little bit of a light bulb here. You asked her every weekend to hang out, and did she respond?
Yeah.
And she said no.
She
Or
was
she said
she was
yes.
busy a lot in the
Okay.
beginning,
All right.
but she made time every weekend for at least a meetup on the
Oh,
beach.
she did. So you guys did get together. It wasn't like she ignored your text message or
No,
anything.
she did not
Okay.
ignore.
All right. So then it's not anti anything.
No, I know.
I thought you were like actually just
No,
texting her every weekend.
no, I
like-
wasn't a stalker, but I was assertive because she was giving me something.
Yeah. Some signal that, okay, yeah,
I knew
there's a
that- look,
mutual
I knew
something.
there was interest before she knew there was interest. I knew it. I felt it. I saw it in her eyes. I know what I feel.
Yeah.
She just didn't know it yet because she was going through this process herself. So I said, I'm going to be at the very least, not a platonic friend, but a man who's here
For you.
saying, I'm here when you're ready. And I told her that a few months into it. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not dating anyone. I'm not talking to any other women. I'm focused on you and I want to put my energy to you. And she said, I'm not available for that. She wasn't available. She said, like, I can't give you that. I said, that's fine. And I still pursued. Not to say when she said that, I didn't feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? Should I walk away?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still pursued because I said, I trust what's on my whiteboard. I trust the qualities that I haven't embodied in my life that has got me to places that I didn't want to go. What if I embodied a new version of myself as a man?
Wow.
And those qualities I will never let go of because they've changed my life because I knew what I needed to embody to be a better human being, not just a man. And those are my telltale. Every single day I look at them and I say, okay, am I being these things? And I think it's working. For all intents and purposes, I think it's working.
That's beautiful. It's really heartwarming. So we talked about post 2020. We talked about integrating. And I assume part of that was the breath work. You mentioned, of course, the psychedelics, which was playing a powerful role. And a series of exercises, I would think, right? Not just, I'm sure you did other techniques or tactics, journaling. I assume you probably did some gratitude. You're bringing, gratitude practices in your life, et cetera. And that gave you more clarity between the God above and God within.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you took the initiative to embody that, of what that actually looks like in these traits. So is that a good summation, would you say? As a result of all of that, then, how has your evolution of who God is changed? And what are your spiritual practices now? How do we relate with the divine?
Man, you're good at this. You're good at this. I like your I love the question.
It's just a question.
It's good, but it's a good flow, man. God was always something growing up that was something to be feared. It was, God, I remember when if I didn't pray, I would like ask for forgiveness that I didn't pray.
Yeah.
Like I was scared that I missed a day of praying.
Wow.
As a kid.
Yeah.
I was scared of masturbating.
Yeah.
I was scared of anything that made me human.
Yeah.
And when I read Conversations with God, learn about quantum physics as much as I can. I'm not a physicist, but it's interesting to me. I am a scientist. And as I learned that, it shifted. I felt more connected to something. And I was so into the law of attraction, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like going through that process. But I was like, whoa, it's crazy. Like I'm connected. I'm like real. I felt more powerful and autonomous as a human. Like I'm in charge of something, not I've given everything up to God's will, and whatever goes bad or right in my life, it's his doing, his.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, there's a force here that I can work with to start creating something. That's not to say, when my mom passed away in 2011, I didn't spiritually bypass. I did a lot of spiritual bypassing. I did a lot of love and light for many years. So that relationship was more like, I feel like I can create a lot of my experience and I'm in a co-creation with God. But my version of a human being was just light. Then when I learned about somatics and when I learned about repressed emotions, I learned about darkness and shadows. And when I started doing psychedelics, I went deep into darkness and shadows. And then I learned about what it is to be an integrated human being. And it is we have darkness and we have light. And light, the way I always look at it with my clients and patients is your heart is like this mansion, and we choose to banish these parts of us to live outside of the mansion, and they've made comfortable, it's seemingly comfortable, they're living in the streets, homes throughout our body, in our chest and our ribs and our hip and our lower back, all throughout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so those dark shadows can always alchemize into light.
Oh,
You just got to
absolutely.
invite them back.
Yeah,
Right?
shine the light. There's no more shadow.
Shine a light, there's no more shadow. But I think it's foolish for us to deny that we have darkness and that we have shadows. They can be alchemized, they could be integrated, they could be illuminated, but we have shadows. And because we're here, we're on this earth, we're dense too. We have the density. And that integrated approach has now changed my perspective that it's love and light, but I'm also a human being. And it's given me more compassion to embody
Yeah.
things that come up, mistakes that I make.
Yeah.
But I tell you one thing right now, I do not fear God. I don't fear that I'm doing anything wrong. I fear that I'm always loved. I fear that I'm always supported. I feel that death is beautiful. And wow, what a breath that I can take now. Instead of all those versions of my relationship with God, now it's I'm on the beach every morning and I'm talking to God about what I want to create in this world. Today I actually said, God, I'm going to create this awesome business. I don't know what it is, but I asked God to be my CEO. I said, you want to be CEO? I said, let's co-create something beautiful in this world that is in alignment. And that's the beauty of I think as you say this, I think about my whole journey and what a journey it's been.
Yeah.
But I think that I have a really nice connection now.
That's beautiful. And so for someone I love when you talk, what I love about you, there's a lot of things you mentioned that are really beautiful. But one of the most powerful things I think so many of us deal with is there's the God above and then the God within. And integrating the body is so key to knowing God here and now. And you're right. So many of those religious, unfortunately, social constructions of religion push us away and around and put guilt or shame around our bodies in many different ways, just sexuality in different ways. And I guess what I'm curious, like, how do you see sexuality now in light of divinity? How do you see, I'm sorry, I want to follow up to that. How do you see now, because you talked about sex addiction, which is the shadow of lovemaking, right? How do you see God in that now? So love in relationship and love with your own self.
Yeah. This is, I would say, my biggest struggle as a human being right now is fully surrendering to the power of lovemaking, to fully feel God come through in lovemaking.
Yeah.
It's been something that I've struggled with for a long time. Thank God. Thank God. I have not only attracted the most patient partner I've ever met, the most loving partner I've ever met, but also a woman who's literally a teacher for me. She embodies every single thing to the highest level that I fear to step into. And so thank God that we've had our ups, we had our downs. It's been a struggle, but the most beautiful thing is that I'm trying and I'm stepping into, and I'm less scared every single day. And I want to experience fully, because my whole relationship with sex has been very transactional most of my life.
Yeah, exactly what you're describing, for sure.
So I want to step into feeling full divinity, but I can't say that I have consistently felt full divinity of lovemaking because I've been too scared to do it.
We did a podcast with Dr. Laura Berman, who's a renowned sex therapist and relationship coach, and especially around Tantra. And she has this book that she released called Sex Magic.
Oh, cool.
And you would love that book.
Sex Magic.
And I want to know, I know you're writing also a book yourself. How's that going? Is it on the back burner?
Man, I feel, you know what it feels like? Right when I want to do something, there's another thing to do. It's ADD. I have it real severe. But, oh my God, I do want to write a book. I have all of the text.
Yeah.
It's all channel text, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you really are connected. Like, I really want to say, like,
you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that channel text, it's going to come out. I don't know if I'm going to self-publish or have I need like someone to help me do that.
Yeah.
But at this point, my biggest interest in love is I'm going to teach a handful of people all of the things that I learned, especially the emotional stuff. Yeah. Because that I know that I'm really good at, the emotional sensing, and I've created a practice.
Yeah, you have a whole framework too. There's so many, just for the audience to know, he has he's here, so I'm putting third person, but like, you have so many frameworks around actually understanding the body and what it's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And you have these events, you have these gatherings, you have these programs, you have these one-on-one sessions that have been transformative for so many people. And so it's so beautiful for you to take what you've learned and now support so many people in their own journey and
Yeah.
inspire them to be the most beautiful self. And that's really, that's a beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
there's
act.
iterations that are happening, and I'm getting clear about what is the next version of this because I've done a lot of the same things for a while, and I
Yeah.
feel much more embodied, healthier, and the potential for impact is even bigger.
Oh, for sure.
I can feel it, something
Oh,
shifting.
1,000%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're in a new era.
We're in a new era.
Yeah.
So maybe more live events, but I'm definitely want to teach a small group, whether they're physicians or anyone who's like wanting to go deeper with their patients. Because I'll tell you right now, I work very clearly on nutrition and supplements and blood work, and it helps, but it hits walls for people. And for the people who've hit walls, I want to teach these practitioners how to get deeper because you can.
Yeah.
You can completely change a client or patient's life. You can. And you just have to understand what the body, you have to learn the language of the body, basically.
Sure.
You're just learning the language
Can
of the
you,
body.
because I know we have only like a minute or so left. Do you mind just giving it's a quick overview? Who are you looking for in terms of these types of practitioners and if it's a fit for them?
Yeah, it's literally any practitioner that has hit a wall and goes, I know there's something deeper. I just don't know what to do. And I will teach everything.
Okay,
I'll
for
teach
their clients.
For the clients. And I want to do this also for a group of people who are looking to get healthy, who are looking to change their life. This has been my biggest inspiration that I got clarity on. So I want to bring small group through a journey, practitioners, small group through a journey, people who are chronically ill or something like that, who've hit walls medically,
Yeah.
and let the community and the practices begin to change both educationally, what you're embodying, and health, what you're experiencing. Both is everything, man.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
It's all one.
It's all one. You know that.
It's such a joy speaking with you. I could talk to you for another few hours, honestly, about a lot of things. Hopefully till next time. But thank you so much for your time and for the opportunity for us to get together, for your vulnerability, and for getting to speak about, if we may be so bold, because how can he be spoken about, that which informs all. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.